Football nights like this are always special because they combine expectation with uncertainty. The fixtures look predictable on paper, yet history constantly reminds us that football rarely follows the script we imagine. Each of these matches has its own rhythm, its own psychological battle, and its own moment where the game can turn. Let's begin with Juventus against Galatasaray. This is the type of game where structure meets emotion. The home side normally builds matches patiently, preferring control over chaos. They slow the tempo, stretch the opposition shape, and gradually open spaces rather than forcing immediate attacks. Their defensive line is organized and rarely commits unnecessary risks early. Galatasaray approach matches differently. They don't wait for control to develop, they create pressure through energy. They are comfortable in open games, especially away from home, where transitions become the primary weapon. Instead of sustained possession, they rely on quick vertical movements and sudden attacks when the opponent is slightly unbalanced. Because of these contrasting approaches, the first half will likely be cautious from the home team and energetic from the visitors. The away side will try to disrupt the rhythm before it settles. That increases the chances of an early goal rather than a slow build-up match. Once the first goal arrives, the game opens significantly. Juventus will have to increase tempo and push lines forward. That is exactly the environment where Galatasaray become dangerous when space appears behind defensive lines. This will not be a quiet tactical match. Both sides should find chances because neither style cancels the other. Instead, they amplify each other's strengths. Prediction: both teams to score, yes. Correct score, 2-3. Now to Atalanta versus Dortmund. This game is about tempo management. Atalanta usually prefer aggressive pressing in phases, but not constantly. They choose moments to accelerate the game and moments to slow it down. When they press collectively, forcing rushed clearances and second ball opportunities. Dortmund are more comfortable in dynamic situations than static ones. When the match becomes fast, they find rhythm. They move forward quickly and transition rapidly, often turning defensive situations into attacks within seconds. Because both teams are comfortable without full possession dominance, the ball will change sides frequently. Instead of long passing sequences, we should see waves of attacks followed by recovery phases. The key difference comes in risk tolerance. Atalanta will want to push forward at home, but they also understand the danger of overcommitting. Dortmund will happily accept a balanced contest and exploit spaces that appear naturally. This usually produces a match where neither team truly controls long periods. Chances appear for both, but clear dominance never develops. As the game progresses, both sides begin to prioritize avoiding defeat rather than chasing victory recklessly. Prediction: Dortmund win or draw. Correct score, 1-1. Next is Paris Saint-Germain against Monaco. This fixture almost always produces entertainment because both sides believe in attacking football rather than passive containment. Even when one team leads, they rarely abandon forward movement entirely. The home side will likely control possession early. They prefer circulating the ball across the pitch, pulling defensive lines from side to side until small openings appear. Monaco, however, rarely sit too deep for too long. Instead, they defend in mid-block phases and then break forward quickly once the ball is recovered. That means transitions will play a major role. Every turnover becomes a potential chance. Instead of long defensive spells, Monaco will look for moments where a single pass removes multiple defenders from the play. The home team usually responds by increasing tempo in the second half. Their pressure intensifies, and chances begin arriving more frequently as defensive concentration drops slightly. Because neither team plays purely reactive football, the match should feature multiple scoring opportunities rather than a low-scoring tactical battle. Prediction: over 2.5 goals. Correct score, 2-1. Now to Real Madrid versus Benfica. This is a high-level tactical contest where patience matters more than speed. Both sides are comfortable defending deep phases when necessary, and both understand how to control emotional moments in big matches. The home side typically builds confidence gradually. They don't rush into aggressive pressing early. Instead, they observe the opponent's structure and identify which areas of the pitch offer the most space. Once discovered, they begin targeting those zones repeatedly. Benfica are very disciplined away from home in major matches. They maintain compact lines and wait for the opponent to commit numbers forward before attempting forward movement. Their strategy revolves around timing rather than constant pressure. Because of this, the first half may appear balanced with limited clear chances. However, the second half often changes dramatically once one side scores. The game opens, defensive lines stretch, and counterattacks become far more frequent. Both teams possess enough attacking quality to exploit those moments. Once the match loses its early caution, goals usually follow for both sides. Prediction: both teams to score, yes. Correct score: 2-2. Finally, Stoke City vs Oxford. Matches like this are often decided by discipline rather than creativity. Stoke City at home rely heavily on organization. They focus on defensive stability first and attacking structure second. Their plan is to keep the match controlled, preventing the opponent from gaining confidence. Oxford prefer quicker movement but may struggle when the game slows down. Against structured opposition, they must break lines through patience instead of speed. That tends to reduce their effectiveness away from home. The first half could be tight with limited chances. Stoke City will attempt to impose physical presence and territorial control rather than open attacking football. As the match progresses, fatigue begins to create small spaces, usually favoring the more organized defensive side. A single goal could decide this match. If Stoke City score first, they are comfortable protecting a narrow lead by managing tempo and reducing risks. Prediction: Stoke City win or draw. Correct score: 1-0. These fixtures highlight why football predictions remain fascinating. Some games depend on emotion, others on structure, and others on moments of transition. When styles collide, the result is rarely random, it follows patterns created by tactical identities. Understanding those patterns gives us a clearer picture of how matches are likely to unfold, and tonight's schedule offers a perfect blend of attacking contests, balanced duels, and controlled encounters. And as always, football rewards the team that adapts best once the game begins to change.